first part of the 90-day rule. How do we first define what a relationship is? First step, commitment. Are you and I committed to being in a relationship together? And that takes time. If you're on a date with somebody in a week's time and they tell you you're the one, I'm not saying you should run, but I'm saying you should put your sneakers on. And you might also want to consider the fact that it takes somebody some time to get to know you. Part of how you can tell that somebody is truly interested in you is the commitment they make to you. And you'll also get to see what commitment means to them. We all throw these words around. And what I have learned from my participants in workshops is every word in your head you have a definition for that is sometimes similar to the word in somebody else's head, but rarely exactly the same. So I say commitment, and I mean for the rest of our lives. You say commitment, and you mean I'm dating you until something better comes along. I'm committed to dating you until something better comes along. I say commitment, and I'm purchasing a double burial plot. So that's the same word, that's the same intention, but entirely different definitions. So first we need to negotiate, and men are excellent at this, which is why it's great to have structured rules around stages of relationships. Commitment. What does commitment mean to you? What does commitment mean to me? What am I capable of committing? Am I capable of committing my resources, my time, my energy, my body, my love, my intimacy to you? Am I able to commit what I'm doing educationally, what I'm doing at work? All of those things are part of a commitment. Am I able to? If I'm unemployed, I have to look at the fact that if you're employed and I'm unemployed, that means that we have different financial abilities to commit. Now everybody says, oh, you'll find a job, it'll be okay. That's great until bills start coming. And the one thing that never has stopped the bill is an orgasm. So that's another reason why to not be sexual until we start balancing out who we are and what things mean to us. The second one is monogamy. Now, when we talk about monogamy, particularly with homosexual men, it becomes scary because sex is so readily available to gay men that monogamy as a choice, as an action, becomes something that isn't necessarily as highly valued, or it's seen more as the holy grail than something that can be negotiated. So we might need to negotiate that. If you and I are committed to one another, and we're going to do this for some time, and we're saying that there's going to be some monogamy here, again we get into definitions. What does monogamy mean to you? Does monogamy mean that I'm the only one who we perform certain sexual acts with? That's a whole different monogamy from I'm the only one that you have sex with, kiss, or flirt. Or does that mean that I can flirt with other people, I can hang out, I can maybe even kiss, but as long as I don't have sex with them, that's monogamy. So we need to negotiate what monogamy is to both of us, because most conflicts occur when I have one picture, you have another picture, and about 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks in, a couple of months in, suddenly everybody pulls the curtain off their picture, and we realize we have 2 different pictures when a situation comes up. We also want to look at some level of a continuous relationship, or longevity being the third point. That we're going to do this continuously. We're not making up to break up, and we're not breaking up to make up. We are going to be in a relationship, and this is something, if you look at heterosexual relationships, are supported by dating, courtship, engagement, marriage. Even the law supports that by actually giving a ring to somebody, a man giving it to a woman, or a woman exchanging them back and forth with a man, to their family network around them, helps maintain this is going to be a continuous relationship. So, 3 things. The actual continuous or longevity for this, so we're going to do this consistently. We're not boyfriend and boyfriend on Monday, and the next week maybe we're not, or I met somebody else, or my ex came back. No. we are going to do this until we both work out that maybe we're not going to do this because of mutually agreed upon reasons that aren't working. Then we also agree upon monogamy, and we say, you know something, this is what monogamy means to you, this is what monogamy means to me. And you'll find that if you actually have these adult conversations with other men, what looks good, you may actually say, you know something, isn't that good for me? And now, of course, the third and final one, commitment. How are we doing this? How are we going to say that this is going to formulate? What level of commitment are we having? Am I dating you and maybe one other person? Am I only dating you? Where is this going towards? Part of all of these things really framework a relationship for what is this going to be that is comfortable for both of us. What are our expectations in a relationship? If I know your expectations up front and you know my expectations up front, it's a lot easier for feelings not to be hurt. It's a lot easier for us not to be numbing in our expectations. Sometimes people have sex to stay far apart rather than to get close together. Because I might actually have to have a discussion with you about what monogamy means. I might actually have to use some of my feminine skills and be vulnerable and tell you, you know something? I don't want to be sexual with other people, and I don't want you to be sexual with other people if you're going to be in a relationship with me. That's just what makes me feel comfortable and makes me feel special. I might have to have that discussion with you. I might discuss with you that, you know something, I'm a little too young to actually really think about what a serious relationship means in monogamy because I've only had a couple of sexual partners. So I didn't expect to meet somebody this soon, something so intense. So I might need some sexual freedom here. Or I'm not sure because maybe I'm in the military, maybe I'm going back and forth to school, maybe because of my job I might be transferred someplace else, if I can have a continuous relationship with you. So these are things that it's important to discuss because life changes and adults, even adult men, especially adult homosexual men, need to be able to negotiate the areas that women and society would normally help them create the roadmaps for. Men who are interested in men have a new responsibility to create roadmaps for their relationships and for their intimacy that lacks illusion, and it lacks over-sexuality, it lacks hypermasculinity, it lacks dormant or ignored femininity, and so you have wholer relationships. Now everybody says, why? Why do this? It's working just the way I am. Or, my personal favorite, I want to be alone. Or I'm not looking for a relationship. One, no man is an island. It's actually unnatural if you hear somebody say that. Part of what human beings do is they connect. That's part of what we all need. Imagine someone not connecting as a human being. Imagine someone living in isolation. Gay men, homosexual men, generally grow up with their identities in isolation, so it's very easy for them to be in emotional isolation all the time, or to pull away when hurt. Part of what heterosexual people learn is that things go wrong, there are other fish in the sea, how to re-engage with the world, how to heal the wound, because they also have the support of society helping them to heal the wound. So we have some steps and some work to do, and that's okay, because I believe that people can do this. And one of the important reasons why to do this, we can look at the STD rates. We can look at HIV, we can look at AIDS, we can look at gonorrhea, we can look at chlamydia, we can look at HPV, we can look at herpes. Those things that particularly, or things like drug addiction, have something to do with being dissatisfied men, with being unsafe purposefully, barebacking, breeding, in a community that supposedly love each other, especially men of color. You can't call me brother and talk to me about barebacking. Okay? You can't invite me into that and call me brother. But we have to look at that. And some of it has to do with how we form relationships or don't form relationships.